Hello, intelligence and students and people of Central Connecticut State University recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed uses of Gayle King and ties to her, also with houses on the sides of Central Connecticut State University, involved intercities through time, and planting evidences with WFSB, including World Trade Center attack rolls, and they forced Saudis to rolls, as simultaneously the Saudis attackers forced rolls. And the exceptions, because they're also collusion with wire crime acts and methods, identity theft. WFSB attached me to fake conversations with them. They have training of police forms sickly distinctly as women and men, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw. Whiting forensics is increasingly involved with wire crimes and remote uses of fire departments and their family members with identity theft, fraud, slanders, planting evidences with fake stories. WTNH also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. The people leading their stories are also with intelligence next to their locations, involved with wire crime acts and methods, falsified phone conversations with police, falsified in person conversations with police, with kids, fake ties to kids, with foreign and domestic families, including medical and sexual and overt criminal enterprises associated running in, hiding, multiple progressions together. So they're also refusing to identify themselves and forging and switching names. It is recorded how they have their differences used interbranch. Every single cultural difference, not one knows how speaks regarding the breaching methods uses of such black pupils. Per what I caught them involved with foreign domestic at campuses, as they are actually recorded. See, they were shown needs to hide from what is the actual value of everyone playing. Just take what comes before me and pretend there's integrity of science voices. You can't discern science integrity because it has not spoke. You have fake mass things on a mass scale. You have vertical and horizontal confessions tied to recorded uses of predicate acts stacked into databases on campuses and off. On and off Central Connecticut State University, people associated with the Dean Judd and his family members. And through administration since before that, since I was a little kid, it was recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed that there's people at Central Connecticut State University involved with the overt slash insidious criminally foreign influence quality aspects in nature of sciences with each age. And there are uses of that consciously, where and how others communicate for the law then is pretended by the formal people speaking for it formally. This is why when it's confronted, they start switching names, forging names, and preventing people free speech and getting away with it by valuing those fake things stacked in databases. All sides in criminal and civil cases, and the judges and prosecutors and their family members, victims advocates, roles, collusions, same time with the news, names next to body dumping spots. They have also roles for having forced child abusers, leaders of kids, and all kinds of other natures of roles with all those known things, the negative value, nature, progression. These are also people that study the kind of problems that have collusions because they're also used to measure and maintain that left out. Quinnipiac University also has rules with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and various natures and methods of organized crime, and names involved with child offenders, leaders of kids, involved also with identity theft, fraud, slanders tied to uses of fake things they're putting in databases and uses of them communicating other than they pretend. I never had a conversation with Gayle King in my life. This is recorded, I verified true because WFSB attached me to fake conversations with them, and they're all the way in Rocky Hill. There are males and females with the name Bobby. They also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. They have been used criminally foreign influence too, with people from Weathersfield all along Route 175, involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, trying to make exceptions, and all conjunctions to it, and conjunctions to that, like this Joshua Julian. You have a whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital involved with people directly and indirectly, named Kalala, and Ayala and tomorrow involved with fire departments, the Wethersfield Police Department, and these fire departments are great people. These are the only people we need. The police, we need police. See, they want us to say bad things about the police so they can hide their roles with the criminally foreign influence uses of police. Per federals, too. Former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, and his co-defendants are involved with predicate acts on Fox Connecticut News. Wire crime acts with them, dropping fake evidences with the news articles fake, and with WTNH at corners of streets. Wethersfield police recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed their roles planting evidences with names like Joe DeMauro and Heather Hansen and other boyfriends she had with Joe DeMauro at the same time. They recorded federal crimes with evidences with names at corners of that street. There's also the name Gilmore, I believe it's the name, who pretended they pretended through the mail that I even saw what he looked like. There's a Christina Soka. I didn't see any one man or any other person there. When I went to speak with a Christina Sioka, I found out she has roles with all. I didn't know it was people at Hartford Hospital. I knew it was courts and foreign and domestic military affected confessions to me and requests for help. The same people involved with Gayle King and her family members and intimate ties associated with spots next to Trinity Central Connecticut State University and her roles with the campuses there, their databases. They've been sticking fake things in databases, and also fact-checking nature and wire crime acts and methods roles. Also switching names with courts, sticking fake things in databases, and collusions with all sides of criminal and civil cases. Increasingly, those names increasingly have collusions with people who planted evidences on my street, with ones that put with their teachers behind my back, people that weren't even in my classes in grammar school were putting fake things in databases, and with mayors involved, with foreign and domestic, all sides with the World Trade Center attack. These are also names that forced Saudis to collusions with them. And the Saudi attackers forced collusions with uses, for example, of words like torture or constitution or extremism. Also, extremism is a part of a wire crime method. See, now they have readings of statutes that are criminally foreign influence and tactically delusions raw and show remote uses of themselves, pretending not to realize self-valued uses of the Constitution abridged, and them screening those original and stated abridgments. They've been blaming things on others and or on selves, where, how, and why the sciences have been speaking dishonestly and tactically delusions wrought for people labeled black. We have black pupils, whites of eyes to discern. Also, the breaching method is left out and replaced by things our founders communicated to us to blame, like the breaching method, not themselves for slavery. All exceptions, exception nature that appeared to be a demonstration of other, we're supposed to understand how everyone was fact-checking nature, tortured and extorted and enslaved. And if they didn't entertain roles with that syntactically, they were sensed. And that's roles hurting other people and or helping them as collusions to leave out the breaching method, which is a scientific value, increasingly value, even though it has stayed apart from descriptions of American history, of world history. There's a fact-checking nature breaching method present there to discern. That's one of the things true always that slavery was about. A predicate acts with facts delivery system method. I'll go further. I'm not even a lawyer. Lawyers also themselves. There's a Tarantola and Tarantola making conspiracy theories and pretending others do it. Sequence shifts, all kinds of rackets with courts and FBI, federal and domestic. A whole bunch of foreign and domestic fabricating evidences with Tarantola and Tarantola influencing it. Also, they have roles with social locations and unmarked police forms where they keep the social. They're keeping collusions with the predicate acts with facts roles into databases of each age and nature. More child abusers, leaders of kids, and roles with victims advocates with the crime with victims as collusions with attackers of them and killers of them too. Even names on body dumping spots. And so associated, in other words, people trying to defend the kids have collusion as in the difference of their roles or the interbranch with their kids' roles. People are complaining about others in backgrounds to lie and to imply that they're lying about their motivations. People who complain about me with the news and with the schools. That was why they were forcing a principal child abuser. No, there are more medical and sexual and uses of kids of a Brendan Leahy further recorded upskirt pictures roles also with people with the name Ian. Also, increasingly, people involved with intercities like Middletown, increasingly involved with, keeping state police, criminally foreign influence, the FBI, Secret Service. You guys should fear God. Weathersfield Police. The same houses, wire crimes with them, falsified police reports with them, that are personally involved with other police departments through time. All sides in criminal and civil cases, they're planting collusions, also as ones next to the news locations involved with predicate acts with them. So, Gayle King, please do what's right and get me off the fake conversations with WFSB and get the people in refusing to identify themselves onto paper. They're what are they doing with the fire departments? Don't pretend you have a legitimate means nuclear or if you're trying to cool things or what you're doing. And don't pretend it's personal against the fire departments. The people next to them brought that up. And the people that brought up the principal child abusers campus to me. And you hid what I found from the parents with other parents who have been planting evidences with the news too and uses of their kids, like this Leahy family that pretended through to the mail that they had conversations with me, fake too. And they have roles forging the other doctors' names because I never had conversations with them. And one of them, like a Dr. Shamsi Ali, he made it over the phone. Told him I had no conversation with him. I saw three guys that looked like that culture of like that type of name, Shamsi. And they looked around me like that because I already knew who it was about. When I was there first time for 3 days, they forced me for mental evaluation. They walked away. So I had no conversations with people there. And like this Leahy family, they have roles with a whole bunch of people who've been planting evidences on my street since I was a kid. And with campuses, when I didn't even have a class with them, never saw them around campuses. And there were a couple of exceptions only where there were people made confessions to them and they walked by, so I noticed. And then a couple times in a row. And so I remember this is a trick they do with memory. The same experts that are supposed to be experts on memory and learning and things like that, instead they are used remotely with this preaching method showed them how to speak for the law and the mind and the soul. These are people with religious spots also involved. All sides of a religious spot on Route 3 are people involved with the fire departments, with wire crimes, with the Weathersfield Police refusing to identify themselves. And they have an Inspector Mike. They won't give his last name. He won't give it. And he's involved with planting and changing what's recorded with phones and with on and off campuses with child offenders and with social media. A whole bunch of people tied to the Facebook page of the Weathersfield Police. Our families involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders too, trying to pay bank exceptions. Joshua Schumacher his mother is involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders with child offenders, including with some KKK and black themed and medical themed and military themed, planting evidences on CCSU, UConn, and Trinity College that are connected and involved. Also, there's a Joshua Stryker. I never classed with him. I had anything to do with him. He's been trying to pretend. He's been pretending other and sequence shifting since I was a kid, behind my back since I was a kid. We need to get them on paper, one name in sequence. These are people out of the state judicial branch offices increasingly and the state corrections offices used remotely criminally foreign influence. It's not hard to discern where and how. Not honesty it speaks, not free speech spoke for any city, any suburb, let alone any city. Get them on paper, one name and sequence. I'll show you how to bring injunctive reliefs and the difference between that and reparations. Black pupils. Here, A through Z. Let's get them on paper, one name and sequence. Let's go. Now, pick a name.